Most people believe strength is built by choosing correctly. The right path, the right decision, the right opportunity. But there is a quieter truth that few ever confront. Strength is not revealed in the moment you choose. It is revealed in what remains after the choice is made, when all other options are gone and there is no path left but the one beneath your feet. Long before the modern world turned decisions into endless variations, the warriors of Japan understood something far more severe. Choice is not power, commitment is. And once a choice is made, the real test begins. Not in selecting a direction, but in refusing to abandon it. Chapter 1. The moment after decision. In the modern world lived a man named Kaito. His life was not defined by failure, but by hesitation. He made decisions often. He chose paths, started projects, and committed to plans. But something subtle always followed. After every decision, a quiet unease would appear, a question, a doubt, a sense that something else might have been better. Even when his choice was reasonable, even when it moved him forward, his mind refused to settle. It hovered just behind him, looking backward. Kaito believed his problem was uncertainty. He believed he simply needed more information, more clarity before acting. But this belief kept him trapped, because no matter how carefully he chose, the moment after the decision always felt the same: incomplete, unstable, fragile. He did not understand that the problem was not the choice itself. It was what he did after the choice was made. Chapter 2. The Samurai's Understanding. The samurai did not measure a man by his ability to choose. They measured him by his ability to remain. In Bushido, the way of the warrior, a decision was not the end of doubt, it was the beginning of discipline. Once a path was chosen, the mind was expected to close, not in ignorance, but in unity. The samurai understood that if the mind continued to wander after commitment, the body would never fully act. A divided mind could not produce clean movement. Miyamoto Musashi wrote of a state where there is no preference, no hesitation, no lingering attachment to alternatives. This was not indifference, it was total alignment. The warrior did not stand between options, he stood inside one. To the samurai, the strength of a man was not in his ability to evaluate possibilities, it was in his refusal to fracture after deciding. Chapter 3. The Hidden Weakness. Most people never notice the weakness that follows their decisions. It is quiet. It does not announce itself as failure. It appears as reconsideration, as second-guessing, as subtle hesitation. Kaito began to observe this in himself. Each time he made a decision, his mind remained open, not in curiosity, but in doubt. Part of him moved forward, but another part stayed behind, holding on to what could have been. This division weakened everything. His effort lost intensity. His focus became inconsistent. Even when he succeeded, the satisfaction was incomplete, because his mind was never fully present. The samurai saw this as a dangerous state, not because it led to immediate failure, but because it slowly eroded the foundation of action. A man who cannot stand fully inside his decisions cannot stand fully anywhere. Chapter 4. Closing the mind. The discipline was not in making perfect choices, it was in closing the mind after making one. This is where most people fail, because it feels unnatural. It feels like giving up control. It feels like ignoring possibilities, but in reality, it is the opposite. It is the act of reclaiming control from endless thought. When the mind stops negotiating, energy gathers. When alternatives disappear, action sharpens. Kaito resisted this at first. He believed that keeping his options open made him flexible. But over time, he began to see the cost. Flexibility had become instability. Openness had become distraction. So he began a simple practice. After making a decision, he would not revisit it. Not mentally, not emotionally. He would act as if no other option existed. At first, this felt forced. His mind pushed back, offering alternatives, suggesting changes. But he did not engage. He did not argue. He simply continued forward. Chapter 5. The Weight of Commitment. As Kaito continued this practice, something unfamiliar began to emerge. Weight, not as pressure, but as presence. His actions became heavier, more grounded. His movements carried intention. Without alternatives, his attention had nowhere to go but forward. There was no escape into comparison, no retreat into reconsideration, only the path itself. This weight was what the samurai cultivated, a grounded state where action is not scattered across possibilities, but concentrated into a single direction. It is not forceful, it is stable. Musashi described this as a mind that does not cling, not to outcomes, not to alternatives, not even to the self. It moves, but it does not divide. Chapter 6. The End of Negotiation. One of the most subtle changes Kaito experienced was the end of negotiation. Before, every action required internal discussion. Should he continue? Should he stop? Should he adjust? This constant dialogue consumed his energy. It slowed him down. It created friction where none was necessary. But as he practiced closing the mind after decisions, this dialogue began to fade. Action became simpler. He did not need to convince himself, he did not need to justify his effort. He simply acted. The samurai understood that negotiation is a form of weakness, not because thinking is wrong, but because endless thinking prevents completion. A warrior does not debate in the middle of movement. He completes the movement. Chapter 7. The Strength That Remains. Over time, Kaito began to feel something deeper than clarity. Strength. Not the loud, visible kind, but something quieter. A stability that did not depend on perfect conditions. This strength did not come from choosing correctly. It came from remaining completely within what he had chosen. It came from removing every internal exit. He noticed that even when situations became difficult, his mind did not scatter as before. It stayed. It endured. It adapted without abandoning. This was the strength that remained after choices. Not the illusion of control before action, but the reality of presence during it. Chapter 8. The Discipline of No Return. The samurai lived with a principle that modern life rarely teaches. Once a path is taken, there is no return. Not physically, but mentally. This does not mean stubbornness, it means completeness. It means that when you act, you bring your entire mind with you. Kaito began to understand this deeply. He no longer saw decisions as reversible experiments. He saw them as commitments that required his full presence. This changed everything. His actions became cleaner. His thoughts became quieter. His identity became more stable. He was no longer a man moving between options. He was a man standing within one. Conclusion. The quiet strength. The strength most people seek is often imagined as something external, a result of better choices, better opportunities, better outcomes. But the samurai understood a different truth. Strength is what remains when all alternatives are removed, when the mind stops searching for escape, when the path beneath you becomes the only path that exists. It is not dramatic, it is not visible, but it is unshakable. When you stop revisiting your decisions, your presence deepens. When your presence deepens, your actions become whole. And when your actions become whole, strength is no longer something you chase. It is simply what remains.